Hello everyone and welcome, it's Shanna. Now I've got these 3D beveled embossing folders from Spellbinders. This one says a gift for you. This one says thanks, we'll be using this one today. This one says happy birthday. And this one says hello. And they're all just 3D embeveled letters on these embossing folders. I'm going to be using this thanks one today, and we're going to make a couple cards. Now these are kind of, you got to get creative with these. They're kind of tricky unless you just want a real simple card. You could use just, a white panel and just put it on there and have just a completely clean thanks card. Or you could use colored cardstock and just leave it at that. You could also try inking up the embossing folder and maybe doing the blackout technique or something like that on it. But I'm going to use this on white, and I'm going to create a decorative base to put it on. Now I'm bringing in a 5x7 card. I was doing some cleanup in my craft room, and I came across it. It was a already prepared card base that I had gotten in a kit that I hadn't used, and I thought I'll just use it for this. I've got this black panel here, and this is just some Recollections paper from Michaels in the black, and I'm just going to lay it down on here, and I'm creating a base for our design. Now I'm going to use this panel from this die from Spellbinders. It's called Timeless Heart Border, and it has a lot of real decorative pieces on here. And I thought this might be a way to add a decorative element to this card, and then still use this kind of simple embossing panel that I have here, embossed panel. So I'm just going to glue this baby up and get it laid down on my black card base just for some additional interest. And then we'll put this panel down on it. And I sped that portion up because I thought you don't need to see me in real time gluing this thing down. Because these ornate die cut pieces really, you've got to kind of get your glue all over the place. So I've got that laid down on there, and I think that looks really pretty. It really pops off that black. And this would have been fun if I had made this thanks panel in red. I think that could have looked really cool. Now, I want a lot of that ornate detail to show, so I'm going to bring in my Spellbinders guillotine and just cut down quite a bit of the edge off so that we can bring this thanks down to something that will allow more of my die cut pieces to show. I really like that scrolly, ornate look to it. So I'll just keep cutting until I get it where I want it. I think it takes several times for me to get it cut down exactly how I want it. And we're going to position it on there and see, how that looks. And I think that kind of adds some interest to it. It's not quite so plain like that. I thought about rounding the edges on that panel, but I decided not to do that. And I'm still kind of debating on what I'm going to do here. I actually grabbed some fun foam that I had, and I'm going to just use it was a piece that I'd already cut into, and so I'm just going to use it. It's not going to cover it completely, but it'll definitely give us some raised dimension on our card base. And I used the black just because we're laying it on a black piece, and I didn't have white. So I just pulled the release paper off, stuck it on the embossed panel, and then I'm going to glue this down to my card base. And it will kind of slide around a little bit on me, and I'll have to straighten it up. It takes a minute for that to take hold. And so we've got a thanks card that's fairly simple, just black and white. And I thought it was kind of hard to actually see the thanks unless you just turned it just right, especially on the camera. So I had this piece of orange textured metallic specialty paper, and it actually came from Pink and Maine, and I'm using this embossing panel on it, and I think it really pops. The sheen on that really makes it easier to see the embossing on it, and I think you can get a better feel for it. And I'm going to trim it down. And I'm going to make this card quite a bit different. It's going to be more busy, a lot more busier than the other card, even with all that scrolly white die cut we had on there. So you can see that thanks really well now. And I just went searching for some paper that would match this, and I actually had this pink and Maine paper that had some orange in it and green and yellow, and I thought this could be pretty on there. And so I'm going to cut it down to A2 size, and then I'll get the beveled embossing panel laid down on there. And we'll have another thank you card. Now, I just laid this right down there in the center of it, and I thought it looked okay. It definitely seems like a thank you card you could use in the fall, or I think it could even be a masculine card that you could give thanks for. And I thought I was finished with it. I kind of hold it up and kind of show you the thanks on it and everything, and then I decide I'm going to do something else with it. So now I'm going to floral it up. So so much for the masculine look to it. But I just felt like you could do more and add some additional interest to it. So I'm going to use that same paper that I die cut, or that I layered on there, and die cut out a bunch of flowers. And then I'm going to bring in a bunch of scraps that I have with some Tuscan. I had a piece there that I thought I could get a couple of those out with. And then I had this orange paper that I had just a little bit left, and I thought I could die cut some of those out. So what I'm going to do is layer it up. I used the, that was the large die of the month that was Colorful Expressions Bloom, and I just pulled the smallest, one of the smaller flowers out of it and used it. And I'm going to layer them up. I'm going to layer the pattern paper on the solid paper and offset them so that you can see the color behind there. And then we'll lay these down on this card, and it'll just add a little more interest to the card. And I feel like there's some spots around the letters where you have room to kind of tuck in some florals, and so that's what I'm going to do with this. Now I'm just going to take some embellishments and put on the center of those flowers. I've got some, again, I think this is pink and Maine, little embellishment pieces that I'm putting in the center of these and just kind of finishing off my floral element. And then I'm just going to start tucking them in, kind of clustering them where I can fit them in on my card. And so I'm going to just do 3 on one side and 2 on the other, and just kind of cluster them in like that. And then we'll have, you know, some additional interest on our card. So I think these are, you know, you could keep it real simple and very quickly make a card. But I think from a design standpoint, if you want to do some different things, you really have to kind of get creative and figure out how you can use these. I think it would be fun if you ink blended a panel and then embossed it. It might also be fun with a certain pattern paper as well. So I hope you like them. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you do with them. Take care. Bye-bye.